I need you to forget everything you've been taught about being a man. Because I was lied to, just like you. They told me power was about control. Respect was about dominance. That intimacy was about performance. I believed it for years. I thought being faster, stronger, louder, and tougher was what women wanted, what they remembered. But then life taught me a lesson I'll never forget. None of that matters. Because the men women truly remember, the men they respect, the men they trust, are nothing like what society told us to be. And today, I'm going to tell you why. I grew up hearing the same script you probably did. Be a man. Take charge. Don't be soft. If you want her, go get her. It was in movies. It was in music. It was whispered in locker rooms. Even older men repeated it like gospel. And for a long time, I believed them. I thought women wanted men who could take what they wanted, who could dominate every situation. I thought speed, strength, and performance were everything. But here's the truth nobody told me. That version of masculinity is a trap. Because the men who move fast, the ones who chase control, the ones who turn intimacy into a competition, they don't get respected. They get tolerated. And when I realized that, everything about how I saw women and relationships changed. Here's the thing most men don't understand. Women don't respect a man just because he wants her. They respect the man who takes the time to see her, to understand her, to notice the details other men ignore, the pause in her breath, the shift in her body language, the unspoken language of trust. This isn't about tricks. It's not about memorizing techniques. It's about presence. Because presence is power. I learned this the hard way. I remember a moment years ago, with a woman I deeply cared about. I thought I knew what I was doing. I thought she'd be impressed by my confidence, my speed, my certainty. But somewhere in the middle of it all, I looked at her. Really looked. And I saw it in her eyes. She wasn't there. Her mind had checked out. I was in the room, but she wasn't with me. That moment shook me, because I realized something I'd never understood before. Intimacy without emotional safety isn't intimacy at all. And science backs this up. Neuroscience shows that a woman's ability to relax, to feel pleasure, to open up fully, is directly tied to how safe she feels with you. Not just physically safe, but emotionally safe. If she feels rushed, she shuts down. If she feels unseen, her mind drifts away. If she feels objectified, her body tenses. But when you slow down, when you're present enough to listen, to pay attention, to move without an agenda, something changes. She relaxes. She opens up. She trusts you. And when she trusts you, everything else flows naturally. That's when connection becomes electric. That's when you become the man she remembers. Long after you're gone. Psychologists have a word for this: attunement. It's the ability to sense deeply and instinctively what another person is feeling, what they need, where they are emotionally. Men who are emotionally attuned build deeper, stronger, more lasting relationships. They create a kind of intimacy most men never experience, because they're too busy performing to actually connect. And here's the irony. When you stop trying to impress her and start trying to understand her, you become unforgettable. This isn't weakness. It's confidence. Because when you're secure in yourself, you don't need to dominate. You don't need to rush. You don't need to prove anything. You create a shared experience. And studies confirm this. Women report the highest levels of satisfaction with partners who focus on mutual pleasure, who communicate openly, who are curious, who care enough to learn her body, instead of guessing or pretending. That's emotional intelligence. That's maturity. That's respect. And respect earns you everything. Here's the quiet truth. Women don't fall in love with selfishness. They don't stay loyal to men who make them feel invisible. They don't respect men who treat intimacy like a trophy. They remember the man who saw them, who listened, who slowed down, who made them feel like an equal, not a conquest. That man doesn't just win her body, he earns her trust, her loyalty, her deepest respect. And that's real power. Not in how loud you are, not in how strong you look, but in how safe you make her feel. Because the men who slow down become unforgettable. And when you become unforgettable, everything about your relationships changes forever. Pause. So ask yourself, are you going to keep believing the lies they told us? Or are you ready to unlearn and finally become the man she never forgets? If this resonates with you, it's time to choose differently. Because real power isn't in what you take, it's in what you give.